Okay, Leaf and the girls, if you guys will talk, I will pay you ahead. $30 for a half an hour, $50 for an hour. And if you girls will talk twice in a week, I can't promise that the second time I could pay you ahead if I'm talking to all of you, but I could probably do so most of the time, the second time. And I will come up with something that can definitely sell for at least a little more than I owe you, so that way you'll get your money. I will pay you $50 for an hour, $30 for a half hour ahead, and I wanted to let you know that I'm making some videos, and I'll probably add this to at least 2 YouTube channels. As you know, you make a Gmail address, you can get a YouTube channel. It's pretty much a given. You just have to kind of activate it. And I didn't think of doing that before for the email addresses, which I made for you 2 girls and your mom. I made 2 email addresses for each of you. And the passwords should be your first name, the oldest girl's first name, and then the second oldest daughter's first name. And the only capital letter is the very first letter, which is the first letter of the first daughter's first name. So the first daughter's first name, and then the second daughter's first name, which is a total of 8 digits, and then the birth year of your mom or me. I'm not sure which one I made it for you girls, but with your mom, it will be the first daughter's first name, and then the second daughter's first name, and then your mom's birth year. So that is 8 digits plus, it's about 12 digits. And there may be, or there may not be, a punctuation mark at the end, question mark or a exclamation mark. So there's blank, 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 blank. There's about 12, maybe 13 characters in all in the password. And the email address Lee RDHCOX @gmail.com, and then Lee RD LavityCox @gmail.com, and then Sunny AL Cox @gmail.com, and Sunny AL Cox 2, the numeral 2 @AL.com, and Leaf Lavity Cox for your mom @gmail.com. And her second email is identical, but I put an extra F in. I wish I would have thought to do everybody's the same identical way, but I've also come up with some emails. I made one xt2205 phone mail @gmail.com for your mom's, and that one has the same password as these email addresses for Cox Forbes Lavity, which I didn't. I put that just because it was easier to remember in synchro, or it's in kind of like the C is before F, before H. So Cox Forbes Lavity is an email address, and I'm making this one in hopes that if you guys are worried about signing in, if you log into an email address, which I made, theoretically I can see where you are and you can see where I am. There's ways to stop that though, but I'm not doing it. I'm not tracking any of you. I'm not the bad guy you guys have been taught I was anyway. And you misunderstood when I tried to get Sunny. I was trying to get emergency custody, and I wanted you both to come and more. I invited the whole family if you wouldn't listen. And anyway, that's behind us. There's a lot of that's going to happen that you guys don't even realize that has already happened within you, that makes you being subject to a lot of horrible things, a lot more. Death, murder, accidental death, purpose death, kidnapping, and somebody stick you in a room for 20 years, and I don't know where you are, have any clue to find you, because I haven't had any interaction with you, and your mom should come to the table. She should step up And she should do this because this is the one area where she was awful wrong. She removed you girls from people who loved you. And true, my family don't reach out or do enough, but with me that's not the case. I've been hounded in a corner and punished for poverty. I couldn't function without kids, and I wasn't a deadbeat, and I wasn't a non-provider. I simply couldn't do it when I had the sword of Damocles hanging over my head and the fear of separation. That's not just something simple. That was awful. That was awful, and I went psychotic. I've been a victim myself, and I became a victimizer. That's how it happens. No one's in a vacuum. No one's an island. No one's all good or bad. And I've become a very good person other than my past, which I'll never deny or feel as if I can do enough to change that. But yet I still do what I can. And that is very rare. Almost no one does that because they get what I get from you guys in society. A cold shoulder and a vicious disrespect of my humanity. I haven't had visits with you girls, and that was on your mom. She stopped that. She should come to the corner or to the table and just talk. That's all I'm wanting. I'm not wanting revenge anymore. I don't believe in that. As a matter of fact, I believe that I can win if I can be as good as I can to her and help her out. And in that respect, if you all have, I've seen some, like pictures that Jada had saying that Lee was saying that her mom was wanting money and trying to guilt her into giving her money. Well, that's what drugs does. And your mom was more a giver than a taker at a time, and she could be again. Ironically, I could help her, and she won't think of me as that. And ironically, that town and that community is they think they have the answer. Oh, just repent to God and everything's okay, or this or that. It doesn't happen like that. That is a low success rate, very low. As a matter of fact, when they count that success rate, the next time they count those people who are supposedly in God's church court or whatever, they don't have a high success rate without the things which matter. And that is counseling. Now, if they have churches which have DNA counseling oriented, like 12-step program combined with another format which helps, and the one that helped me was a denial. Jesus, Lord, everything clicked when I took this 6 month. I mean, I had already had a lot of success with sobriety, with medication-assisted treatment and Suboxone. As soon as I got on it, as soon as I got Medicaid that paid for it or insurance, and I was on the run then. And imagine what it would have been like if I didn't have that sort of Damocles hanging over me. I would have been a normal parent and abnormal in a lot of good ways. You girls were cheated. And Leaf, I know you were cheated too in different ways. And I'm asking you to be big enough to step up and admit, because it's true. It's true. You made some huge mistakes, and all I'm asking you now is to see that, hey, now you're on this side of the coin. Now you can't throw shade and say the mean things that you've said for years. You shouldn't do that. That is an awful person. You have become the bad person I was if you continue to do that. I'm asking you to step outside your skin and to step up to the table, because all you have to do is receive. I'm not going to ask you for anything anymore. My plan with you is, hey, I owe you, so let me start paying you, because that gives me credits and validation and all these other things I need to feel good about myself and to go on. You're never going to be asked, expected, or allowed to give me anything. I have, as a matter of fact, ability to give you, all of you, food, clothing, and shelter, and you don't have to pay any rent. My rent is paid through till 2026. Every year it's paid in December for the next year, and I've sent pictures of that in the emails that I made for you. You log in, and Also, Leaf, it may sound confrontational or whatever, but how else can it sound when you have kept those kids away from not only me, but other relationships I would have helped them develop? Like with my family, I know they're not good enough but they would have had some contact and connection with my grandmother, my aunt. There would be some people who would otherwise let them in the door if they ever need it. And God knows that's important, and I think you're beginning to understand that. And I hope the girls understand that that's important, because if nothing else, you can come get some of that from me. I can help you develop some relationships, and I could give you a place to stay you can save your money at. Okay, Leaf, you kept them from me and from their grandmother, Eileen, because you thought that she turned in Dave. Well, look, if she turned in anyone, okay, if they were not guilty, then it makes her look bad. And if they were guilty, then she did the right thing. But I don't think she did it. Okay, I don't know. I think that she's probably telling the truth. Now, her and your sister won't communicate with me, but I don't know if that's because of whatever, because, but I believe that she didn't. All right. That doesn't matter, I guess, what I believe, because I believed, in a gut instinct that Dave didn't do it, but Rebecca said, yes, he did, and there is proof, video proof now. That's a big thing to say, I don't like to think Rebecca's a liar, but, I'm not saying she is or isn't, but, this is a person who told me that she wanted to move him down there to get away from you, but I think that it was the other way around. But at least she opened up and was talking to me. She didn't know me, so she may not want me to feel badly as if she had some type of judgment against me because of what she's heard, and there was some things to back that up. But a lot of that, and a lot of the whole reason I was doing time was because I owed money, and that's a big reason I was so awful to you. I was psychotic because of what I went through. There was things I forgot what I went through, like the rape and murder of a 12-year-old girl I was close to named Rita Eisenhower. I forgot about that. Just before the Christmas of '92, when I and my first wife were coming up to Wabash to visit with my family. Anyway, also during when one of my twin girls was in Riley, and that's the thing, I was cheated out of one family and another. And sometimes I do wonder if I'm ever going to eventually snap, and I'm not going to talk, it's not going to happen on you girls, but, maybe it will happen on these other people who deserve it. And there are nobody you guys know or in the family or anything. There are people who are responsible for separating me, keeping me from my family in one way or another by incarcerating me or what have you. Now, it would be better if I don't do that, and if I can share and I can help others, and that's what I want to do. I want to continue to be a good person and do good things. I've done some really, really good things, incredibly selfless things, risking my life, saving the lives of others, and giving my last, and I'd like to continue to be someone like that. And it does require, there are some people who snap, who otherwise would be good, and they snap because of these things which happen that are wrong. And I'm asking you to, hey, I have nothing but torture and agony. It is hell the way I've lived, and I'm tired of it. I've been tired of it, and I shouldn't have to go through it. I don't deserve it. I deserve to have a chance. I don't have to be liked or anything. But you all should come around and get to know me and communicate and see who I am, including you, Leaf. And what I've proposed is I will leave the apartment, and I will leave it for a year. And you won't have to leave for a year, at least a year. And I could probably get you your own, your own voucher, which will pay your all your rent and utilities, but you can stay at mine also. And if you were to come up here and you were on the run, which I don't know if you are or not, but there's a red W by your name, and I know how that is. Well, I definitely am not going to turn it in. Whether you believe that or not, my best interest is to be the best person I can to you, because that's the best chance for me to salvage something from life. Believe me, this is a passion, this is a obsession with me, and it is serious. And it is deep. It's not a passing fancy. It's been for years. And I think if you could reflect and you were a decent person and you understood the principles of some things, you would know it's true. You know, I would think that you would want to salvage all of what you work for and what you took abuse for and what you gave. It's finally here. I'm sorry it didn't come as your spouse, but it came better. It's somebody who's just as dedicated, will give my life for you, will give my last, and will look out for you, and actually will be better than a spouse, than I would as a spouse, as a platonic friend and brother. And I will help you find someone and help you make sure you don't have the wrong guy again, ironically. I know that may sound hypocritical, but I'd protect you and protect you from the law. And if you need a place to stay and you had a warrant, then we would work it out, hopefully. I mean, I'm not going to kick you out or let you go to jail or cause you to go to jail or even allow you to go to jail. But I would say, hey, if you have only this small thing to face, you know, if you want to face it, we can get certain things prepared and do certain things which will probably, in all likelihood, give you the best chance for the least amount of sentencing and stuff. I think they're maybe going to be sentencing you if you violate it 3 or 4 times. So if you know that, and if that's why you've run, yeah, I get that. You're welcome at my place. That's better than if you go to wherever you're going, because your time's going to run out. And if you don't have resources and stuff, which it sounds like you probably don't, you have resources with me. And I have a damn vested interest in you. Yes, I have a very vested interest in you. If I can repay you, and I won't even have to ask you if you want to get sober. I won't have to set a date or demands or anything. I know it'll happen. You'll understand. We'll interact if you'll start interacting with me. And we can set it up so I move out. I'm sure that's got to be primary, because you couldn't possibly be comfortable staying with me right off the gate. I understand. So my thought is I would go, and at about 6 weeks, we should start interacting in public. You know, wherever. I don't care if it's police station or wherever, because I'm true, I'm sincere, I'm transparent now. Well, you wouldn't want to if you're on the run, though, too. We can figure something out. However, whatever, I'm willing to do it. Jump through hula hoops on roller skates backwards. And then I figure that I can move back in about 12 weeks, you know, after interacting for 6 weeks. And after you're there for about 3 months now, because it'll be hard if I don't. You know, I'm going to have to figure out where to stay. And hell, if I got to stay on the street, it's a lot better, but I can maybe go to the Mission. There's one place I might be able to go to, and there's out of town, but I'd rather not stay out of town unless you have a male that's staying with you. And I've tried to get a male. I've even invited Henry to come up and asked him if he would go to court for you and tell how you've been abused, and I guess he blocked me. But I've tried to get a hold of that Chris, who you stayed with, the nurse. I think she works at the, there's a Alliance Healthcare they have an office at 2700 South Lafayette Street in Fort Wayne. They also have an office in the homeless shelter. And I saw her there doing an intake for me one time when I was in there, like 2015 maybe. But I was in there, maybe it was 2018, I don't remember. But that's when I got my place. I can help you get a place with all rent and utilities paid, I believe. There's a good chance, but even if not, you know, you can stay there. And if so, another thing I thought of, if we do get you one, then I could, if you're worried about authorities knowing where your address is, they probably wouldn't come looking for you unless somebody turned you in, and that's not going to happen with me. That would not happen with me. Trust me, I can't do the things I've done before. I cannot, especially considering a lot of things and how I've changed, and my system is different, my belief system's different, and I would lose. If we have some kind of disagreement or something, I would lose big time. Any way that you go backward from damage from me, I lose. I lose big time, and I'm going through agony and torture right now, and I can't handle any more. I can't handle the thought of anything which keeps me there or will return me there. Believe me, what I'm saying is true and everything. I've begged you for some time now, and the girls are going to know this stuff, and you have an opportunity to pull yourself out of the seat where you look really awful, and you have. You've done some really awful things, what you've not done and done, to cause me to, it isn't just my situation that caused me to be separated from them. You contributed to it too, but you can change that.